Want to get creeped out? Let's read a Reddit story of someone who played the elevator game. I played the elevator game and ended up in a world I cannot return back from. Please do not play this game unless you want a similar fate. I am writing this in hopes for some help and to guide others to not have the same fate as me. I think I have made the biggest mistake of my life. It has been 5 months since it happened, and I haven't been able to fix it. This phone is the only connection to the realm of my birth, my original world. I probably cannot undo my mistake, but I can guide future players. My phone, it's Android. It has an IR blaster, the only reason I bought it, and for some reason, this phone can hold its network through dimensional change. As if it's a loophole, a glitch in the broken matrix that I was facing. Not that I could actually make any use of it because I'm still here. The people here look like us. They all do. They are very sapient. They look just like us, but my bones know that they don't have the same origin as I do. They are good though, have the same social issues, the same intolerable governing body, protesters, and unrealistic agendas. The left wing and the right wing at each other's throats. People who should touch some grass have podcasts. People who should have podcasts enjoy their lives. They are humans just like us, but they are not us. The rules stated by the urban legends still strike the same to this day. If time and space follow the same routine, follow the floor number pattern, pay no heed to the lady that enters the elevator on the 5th floor. Leave the building immediately if you return to floor 1, etc. But the rules are no guarantee as to whether you will be safe or alive after your elevator journey is done. The rules only make sure the procedure is correct. The rules should always be memorized to your bones and spine. This is your SOS and your key. You will find the set of rules on multiple websites. I suggest visiting multiple of them before you start your endeavor, because each of them gives you different kinds of warnings the successful players learned from their own experience. And take this advice of reading through all of those points from this unsuccessful player. One thing the rules on blog sites don't mention is the choice of which world you want to enter, because most players enter an identical world with no electronics and no living thing around them, only a red crossed window that's far stretched away from wherever you look and keeps on moving farther away from you. My case was vaguely different. Now, something about the lady. Do not interact with her at any cost, because of course she is not a lady, no matter how pretty she looks. Oh, you looked at her? Alas, that's also a grave mistake. Don't look at her. Don't talk to her. Just ignore her total existence. If you know of the elevator game, you are already aware of how you should not interact with the lady at all. But one thing is often left blurry is what you should do if she does not enter. This was my case. So my advice here, if the lady on the 5th floor does not enter, then just hope that you do return to the 1st floor after you press it. Because if you end up reaching the 10th floor, good chances are you get to meet me and we make a cute therapy consult group for people who can't return back. I remember everything from that night so vividly. I did your usual pattern flow. I entered the lift when no one was using it. 4, went up there. Meh, nothing happened. I pressed 2. I felt a vague chill around me, as if the mechanism of the ritual was understanding my intention. I pressed 6, then after it reached 6, I pressed 2, then 10, then 5. The elevator door opened, and there she was, standing with all her glory. I did not look at her, but of course I could see her from waist to bottom. She was dressed in Russian traditional clothing, not something I was expecting from an urban legend that became popular in Korea and Japan. I think her wardrobe is a good collection from all cultures, or maybe there's more like her, I don't know. I could feel it in my spine. She was looking at me. She stopped the elevator with her foot so that the doors don't close and asked,
"Baby, which floor are you going to?"
I followed the rules, did not look at her, did not reply to her, and completely ignored her. She said,
"Not much of a speaker, eh? No worries. Have your ride. I hope you have a better life."
I have no idea why she said that. Looking back, I think she knew what was going to happen to me. She knew that I was not going to end up in the world most players ventured into. Better life, she had said. She did not enter the elevator, and I pressed 1. The ritual, now tainted because she did not enter, worked. I reached the 10th floor, and when the doors opened, it was like nothing changed. The building I entered was a hotel. The housekeeping staff was running around. I heard children crying. Some Karen was screaming at a worker because her coffee, which she made from their amenities, tasted bland. It was very confusing for me. I think I assumed the ritual didn't work, and the lady was just another lady who Could have been high. I walked out of the elevator and I felt great. Those silly online urban legends. Such lies, I probably had muttered to myself. I took the lift again, reached the ground floor, and walked out of the building. Everything was going well until my head started hurting and spinning, and I was slowly passing out. And that's the exact moment I remembered from one of the posts of an earlier player. Do not, on any chance, lose your consciousness. And if you do, no matter where you wake up, return to the building, refollow the exit ritual pattern, and return to your own world. My head felt dizzy as I woke up. In my very room, I thought to myself, was it all a dream? Did I search so much about some damn urban legend that I had such a deeply engraving dream? For heaven's sake, I jerked myself up and got down from my bed. Even my clothing is the same as the last evening. I didn't know what was more weird, that I was wearing the clothes from my dream, or that I remember the dream so vividly that I can recall the outfit I was wearing. Also, my phone was in my pocket. This is something I just never do, no matter how sleepy I am. I keep my phone on the other end of my table. And that is when I noticed my table. It was completely on the opposite side. No, it is right beside my bed, just like every day. But the bed and the entire room, it's opposite, as if it were mirroring the room I know. Also, it wasn't just a complete mirror. My room was smaller, just a bit. One wouldn't notice it, even if they visit my room on a weekly basis. But it's my damn room. Of course, I would know even if a fly moved differently. Lo and behold, that extra loss on my room was added to my washroom. Again, one wouldn't just notice it right away. In a nightmare-like urgency, I rushed down the stairs to call my mother, and that is when the realization hit me that I did, in fact, play the elevator game. My dad was there in the kitchen, alive and happily married, figuratively much different from how I remember him. I stood there in shock with my mouth wide open. How could this be? I remember my father. The last time I lived with him was until I was 9, when my parents parted ways. The last time I saw him was when I was 11, when he died. Not that I cried, he was far from what a father is supposed to be. I'm 25 now. His voice sounded oddly different. I was utterly petrified by this moment. There was a quirky yet calming nature to his sound which creeped me out even more. I dashed out of the house while grabbing my backpack from the sofa. I could hear him call out my name in concern. This is it. This is definitely it. I crossed the borders of the unknown realm. But why are people here? Isn't it supposed to be dark with no one in it? No electricity and all? But there's everything. This is a whole other world. What went wrong? I had to return to my world. I ran through the roads and traffic to the Hotel Sunset. As I crossed the roads, I could see it all. Cars stopping at the orange light, people walking in blue. I mean, they're still following basic physics by using orange. Longer wavelengths for stopping cars. But does red not exist in this world? Oh my God. It does. The road lines are red. I hurried through the crowd to reach the hotel. I pulled out my phone, which was surprisingly working perfectly. Internet, GPS, everything. It said I reached my location. I looked up. It said Hotel Moonshine. I'm surprised it wasn't named Moonrise. It would have been the cherry on top then. I walked in. The interior looked the same. I waited and waited and waited for the evening to hit and the horde to lessen. I stood up and walked to the lift. I repeated the entire process. The lift stopped at 5. Instead of the lady, someone else entered. I, of course, didn't look up, but they entered hurriedly, screaming my name, and I had to look up. I was already freaked out at this point. It was me. I was looking at me. Me. Or wait. She held the lift by her foot. What's up with women in the elevator game to hold the elevator by the foot? What did you do? She said. She looked like me. What did I do? I replied back. Whoever this doppelganger was sure was petrified. Did the lady enter the elevator? She screamed at me. What? I was trembling. The white portion of her eyes started to redden. Oh my God. Did she or did she not enter when you did the ritual? She again proclaimed. She didn't, I replied, and slowly lost my leg strength and somewhat collapsed while sitting down. Why did you complete the ritual then? Did you not read? You are supposed to be me. You are supposed to be smart. Heck, aren't you supposed to be smarter? My God. Is that my backpack or yours? I just shook my head and handed her the backpack. It was definitely hers. I never put any anime pins on mine. Speaking of anime pins, Naruto here has pink hair. Isn't that cool? She took out her phone and said, if you want to go back home, go to this Tumblr account and download the app. The account is called buihotline.tumblr.com. And she left. Was that the me of this universe? Do we have counterparts in every universe? How many universes are there? Are these even universes the way our science teacher teaches us universes? The lift started to quake. The light started flickering, and I could hear some noise. Soft noises that slowly grew louder and louder until they became uncontrollable screams. My eardrums were hurting beyond control until it all stopped and the lift opened. I stepped outside, yet I was still here at the Moonshine Hotel. I tried the ritual again. I ended up back here to floor 1, and I went back home to my dad and my mom. For the next 7 days, I kept on going back to the elevator, trying the ritual continuously and failing. On my way, I noticed so many new things about their world. These people like to greet each other in a very weird way. They grab each other's throats and smile, almost sadistic. Language is very similar, but there are a few words and phrases here and there that have changed with customs and traditions. Honey here tastes like metal, cows don't moo, and birds chirp, but the sound is unfamiliar. Dogs don't exist. Cats are the only domestic animals here. I read similar things on some blogs, but never did I think I would get to experience them for real. Either way, on every failed ritual, I reached floor 1 and went back home, and repeated the cycle until the 7th day. I got so fed up, but I kept trying multiple times. All I did was end up at floor 1.